Do you have a bunch of houseplants that you would ideally love to put in one of those glass cabinets from Ikea or Amazon, but those are like $250 and up for those really nice glass cabinets? I don't have that kind of money, so in this video, I'm gonna show you how to do a play on that DIY style with plastic, a bunch of plastic actually, and only under $100. Let's go. What is going on, my plant peoples? I am the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a much needed form of mental health therapy, and I'm super excited about showing you this. Like, I built that. Isn't that awesome? And it's under $100. Now, I really wanted I have a few houseplants actually that would love a lot of humidity. So I really wanted to have or buy one of those glass cabinets so you can maintain all that humidity. It's too expensive, so I wound up coming at, well, I had an idea to build one out of wood. But then my dad gave me even a better idea. He goes, yo, why don't you just use it out of plastic? It's even cheaper than the wood. And I said, man, that's a great idea. So off to Home Depot I went. You don't have to go to Home Depot. Any home improvement store would do. And I went to the storage section and I got one of those, basically they look like shelving units. And it was only 40 bucks, $39.99. I'm gonna open this up, assemble it, and then figure out how in the world I'm gonna wrap it with plastic and then make the door. I just want to let you know that this thing is mad bootleg. Like, this is made out of plastic, but what do you expect for $40? You gotta understand, you get what you pay for. So if you're on a budget, this is what you're gonna get. This is only 40 bucks and it's some flimsy plastic. I know it's really not intended for what this is, and eventually when I do get money, I will get a glass one. But for now, we're gonna use this and we're gonna make it work. We're just gonna hook it up a little bit, and that's okay. So once you get this all together and built, this is very easy. You can easily build that in like less than 5 minutes, if anything. After that, now we're gonna be covering it with plastic. This shelving unit came with 2 shelves, but I only put 1 in because I'm gonna have like the bottom part of it for larger plants and then the top part for the smaller ones. I have a roll of Mylar that I'm gonna be using to surround or encase 3/4 of that, shelving unit. You don't need to buy a whole roll of Mylar because you can just go on Amazon and just go like buy a little bits at a time, just enough for that. Or you don't even have to put the Mylar on because technically, I was gonna surround that whole thing with plastic. Then I said to myself, if I'm gonna be using some crappy grow lights that I have, I'm gonna need some really serious reflection, and that's where the Mylar came into play. If you don't have Mylar, it's all good. You can still wrap the 3 sides with plastic, not a problem. But I would highly suggest maybe a better plastic or a thicker one so it wouldn't pop. Well, I guess you'll see later on. I'm using duct tape to secure the Mylar. I was debating whether or not I wanted to add a plastic layer around the Mylar, but I guess this is to be determined. Like, I don't know. I have to wait a little while before, to see if it's gonna work or not. But maybe it'll work. Hey, this is an experiment, and frankly, why not? So I had a subscriber say that they had Mylar in their tent or greenhouse, and it burnt the shit out of their plants. So I'm wondering, would this get too hot?
They probably used highlight. And not
highlight, if you're watching this video, you probably use like too much light or too strong of a light?
Yeah.
All right.
Something like this, you want to use low lighting or LEDs.
Low lighting and LEDs. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to go with that. Oh, yeah.
Strip, see, and that's it. Versus little strip,
little strip. Yeah. I don't know why I did that.
The problem with those little strips, they'll work, but eventually they'll come off because you have this, and it's going to start to come off.
Time to make the front door, and that's going to be made out of PVC. Normal people would be measuring before they cut, but you know me, I kind of winged it. Dad, if you're watching this, I know, I should have measured first. As a result of me not measuring, the door wound up being an inch over the size that I needed. So, right? Yeah. Oh, thanks. Wow, I totally winged that. I totally winged that.
It worked out.
Oh, wait, hold on. I measured that, but I, at the same time, just kind of took it and went, I think that's the right height. But I also measured it. I really did measure it with the measuring tape because I did not want to screw it up. I'm trying to be more legit.
How are you going to get the zip tie around that?
I was going to poke a hole through it. I know it may rip, right?
Yep.
What if I put a piece of tape on top of that Mylar and then poke a hole through it? ¿Por qué no? A tape on both sides so it can just...
No. because it's gonna open and close.
Okay.
And it might shift down.
I used 1/2-inch PVC. If I used anything higher than that or larger than that, then I had there was a possibility that the whole thing can just tip over forward. Now that my makeshift door is done, all we got to do is wrap it in plastic. Now, depending on how much money you want to spend is the type of plastic you're going to get. Being that this is extremely cheap, I'm using extremely cheap plastic. And it does rip very easily. So you get what you pay for. Again, it's all about that. I went this super thin because I want to be able to see somewhat through it. I mean, ideally, I would love it to be clear. But that clear plastic was way too expensive. Well, at least for the budget that I was going for. So I went with this very, very crappy, very easily breakable plastic. So in the future, this may have to get replaced, but again, it's cheap enough where you can do that. Look at that a-hole. Look at that. Get out of there. Get, Ramen, move. Get off my plastic. Oh, come on. Get out of there. You're gonna ruin my plastic. Ugh. Look at that. Doesn't that look like a paw to you? You know, I wrapped the plastic already around the door, so it made it very hard to kind of figure out how was I going to get the zip ties around it. So some places were not taped. That's where I, took the opportunity and slipped one of those zip ties through, and that's how I tied it. You don't have to drill holes right at this spot. It's just that the type of lighting that I already have from my NFT system from last year is that, hey, I gotta make do with what I got until I buy more lighting inside. So luckily it's just plastic. We can kind of DIY this and make it happen. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh snap. Ow. 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 Ow, son of a bitch. Ow, that freaking hurt. I probably should have started with the other side. Ah, oh, ho, ho, ho. Oh, I get how I screwed that up. Man, let me tell you about the hardships that I had to do to endure this build. But let me tell you, this is definitely under $100. Zip ties are my friend when it came to this specific light. If you do not have like a light like this, then maybe you don't have to drill so many holes. This one I only had to drill 2 holes on the top, so that means, I just kind of like hung it there. If you see underneath the bottom of it, I have this light which kind of like spans or fans out. So I put a bunch of holes in, on the top of it so I can take the zip ties and kind of like secure the lights. But in doing that, I smashed a hole right through the Mylar. And frankly, I don't have the patience to do this all over again. I don't. So what I'm gonna do is take some duct tape, tape it all up, and run with it.
Tree, goddamn.
This was literally under $100, maybe about $90, $95, assuming you have some materials on hand. That's how much it cost.
Are you recording that?
I am.
Oh, well, I want to tell everybody. Next year, God willing, I'm going to break out a new sweater.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Watch us next year for the next
This
season. This is an old one.
It's my go-to for work. That's all it is. But it does get washed. My wife washes
It just looks like that.
Oh.
It is. Like, I already knew that this was cut, but I had Jose cut the pieces, but it's not that bad.
Cut a little too long and paint it,
Yeah, but other than that, I mean, the concept is...
Concept is there.
It just needs a little more work.
Yeah.
But this is a temporary.
Temporary for what?
Until I get the actual glass cabinet that I really want. It's like $300.
I ain't got money.
Exactly. I had $100 and that's why we have that. There we go. I just took a screw, put it in there, took a little rope, and now this is how I hook this up. Being that this is PVC and it's the thin stuff, it can kind of move around. So when I open it, I just kind of leave my foot there and see how it turns. So all I gotta do is just close it up here, and then it's closed on the bottom. So far so good with the plastic. He has not gone in. I really hope you enjoyed this video and you got some great information out of it. Let me know down in the comments below, do you have one of those glass cabinets? And if you don't, have you considered building like a makeshift DIY type of version to, buy you some time? If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to smash that like button, hit the subscribe bell, and also you can catch me on Facebook and Instagram. I'm on there all the time. I've been dabbling in TikTok, so if you're on there, hit me up there. And last but not least, I live stream twice a month on Sundays, so you can catch me there too, so we can chill together. Until the next episode, you guys, where you and me both are gonna be growing our happiness one plant at a time and one day at a time. And you can see my sweet potato is done in the oven. I'll catch y'all later in the next episode. Peace and love.